So let's begin with the ethers next video where we are discussing question number 21 to question number 28. We have been asked which of the following compounds will do the fastest hydrolysis, ether hydrolysis. So we will first understand how does the ether hydrolysis takes place. Okay. So when I'm talking about ROR dash and when we are doing H3O plus to it, first of all your oxygen gets protonated. Okay. And after that, depending upon whether what kind of R group is there, if it is primary, then SN2 attack by H2O takes place. But if it is secondary or tertiary, SN1 attacks takes place. Okay. So this is how the reaction takes place in case of ether hydrolysis. Now, we have been given multiple options. I have picked up the option number B, and let me explain you how B and what is B. Okay, so first we will understand B and then we will see why other options are not the answer. So this has been given in case of B. So in case of B, what we are seeing is this is the ether given, which has the resonance happening within it, and this kind of resonating structures would be forming. So these are the resonating, this is the resonating structure 1 and this is the resonating structure 2, where oxygen ka lone pair is participating in the resonance, causing the formation of negative charge and plus on the oxygen. So if you see the hybrid, this is how the hybrid of resonance hybrid is going to be. Okay, so this is your resonance hybrid. That means it looks like when H plus has to attack, because many kids ask why H plus is attacking on a specific position. So this is attacking on this carbon. Why? Because according to the resonance hybrid, the electron density is very high over here. So H plus will attack over here and the cation will form on this carbon, which is going to get a plus M stability by oxygen. So this is the resonating structure RS1 and this is your RS2 of this species. So if you see here, the carbocation is extremely stable due to plus M stability. And in case of hydrolysis of ether, forming a cation is the RDS, or attack of H plus is the RDS. So more stable your intermediate is going to form, faster is going to be the reaction. After this, there is nothing else, just simple attack of a nucleophile. So H2 is acting as a nucleophile, attacking on this plus charged position here. So it will be attacking right here, forming the compound like this. And again, what is the problem here? Now OH2, I think I have missed a plus here. This is formed, which will ultimately lose its H plus to form the alcohol right here. So if you see minus H plus and it will be oxygen and OH. This kind of compound where ether and OH both are present on the same carbon, this is called as hemiacetal. Okay. There are two ways of understanding this reaction. One is geminal diols are not stable. Similar way, ether and OH both on the same carbon are not stable. Hence, they are bound to cleave like this. This is one way of understanding it. Another way of understanding is I can explain you how this reaction is happening or how this cleaving is happening, and that is again further hydrolysis on this ether. So first of all, H plus will come and attack over here and will form OH plus again. Now this oxygen will have a plus charge, hence it will cleave one of the carbons. This carbon is a better leaving group. This carbon will be able to cleave its bond faster here. Okay, so this carbon will leave, and if you see, the product will be something like this. This part will form the alcohol and a plus charge will generate over here. Why this is better leaving group? Because again we are getting plus M stability. ठीक है बेटा, उसके बाद there is no need, it can just remove the H plus and it can form the respective aldehyde. So you will see whenever any vinylic ether has been taken, you will find the reactions happening in the similar manner every single time. So here, as I said, the carbocation stability is something which decides the rate of the reaction. Among all of the other options which we had, this had the best stable intermediate, and that is why best stable intermediate, best stable carbocation, and that is the reason why B is the right option. In case of A, both the R chains were primary, hence the reaction was about to happen through SN2, whereas H2O prefers SN1, so that way it is slow. Second option is this itself. In case of third, we have one primary, another second degree, again slower than the stable carbocation forming over here. And in case of D, both are 2-degree carbon chains which can form cation but not as stable as the resonance stabilized cation. and reaction can go through SN1, but not as faster as in the case what we have discussed just now. Now let's talk about question number 22. So in question number 22, we have been asked to hydrolyze CH3OCH3 in the basic medium. Now let's understand what will happen if we'll try to react it with OH minus. So OH minus can attack on this carbon with the delta positive, okay, and OH minus may like to attack on it, but that is possible only if this O leaves. But this O is right now a poor leaving group. Till the time it is poor leaving group, this reaction is not going to happen. So make it good leaving group, you need an acidic medium so that it protonates the oxygen, then it acts as a leaving group. But that is not happening in this case. And that is the reason in the presence of the basic medium, you will find the reaction not happening. So in that case, the hydrolysis of ether is not possible in the basic medium. Main reason is because we want the oxygen to get protonated first, act as a good leaving group, leave the system, and then only hydrolysis is possible. Now come to question number 23. In question number 23, again we have to do the hydrolysis in the acidic medium. We have two ethers in the molecule. Now let's understand the hydrolysis happening over here. So in this case, I have oxygen and I have OET. And let's suppose H plus attacks on this oxygen over here. Now it can attack on this oxygen also. Either way you do the reaction will happen in the same manner. I have just put H plus here because I feel this is more electron dense oxygen as compared to OET. That is the reason why I have put H plus over here. So when you will do that, oxygen will gain a positive charge. Now here on this particular carbon, you can clearly form a cation by breaking the bond because it will get the plus M stability. So here your OET is generating a plus M stability. So bond between oxygen and carbon will break. It will become OH. You'll get a plus charge over here. And here is your OET. Then you will further try to attack it with the water. Water will attack on this plus charge carbon, and it will form OH2 plus OET, which will eventually give away the H plus. So this will become OH. And then this OET and OH are not stable in the geminal position, hence the loss of ETOH will happen. The same way how geminal diols are not stable, similar way alcohols and ethers are not stable, so loss of ETOH will take place, same as loss of water takes place, and C double bond OH and ETOH will be formed. Now let's talk about the question number 24. So in the question number 24, we have been asked what are the products of this reaction, where we have been given ether. Ether has an oxygen 18 and CH3 on one side and phenyl on the other side. So let's do the reaction. It is very simple. We have done the similar reactions before. So H plus will go and attack on the oxygen, will form the protonated oxygen over here. After this, just see, I minus is there. This I minus is a strong nucleophile, will do SN2 attack. Where it is easier to do CH3, PH पे तो SN2 attack होगा भी नहीं. It will not take place because it is a benzene, and benzene पे because of the double bond character with oxygen, because of the resonance, SN2 and SN1 both are not possible. So I minus will attack on CH3. This bond will cleave and you will get PHO18H and CH3I. So this is your option number A. Now let's talk about question number 25. So in question number 25, they're asking to form this ether, what is the best method? And first of all, we should understand that the ethers are prepared using the Williamson ether synthesis. So this is the reaction through which we prepare ethers. And here, what is the requirement? The requirement has to be the stronger nucleophile, okay, and less hindered Rx, because the reaction goes through SN2 mechanism. So less hindered your Rx is going to be, better your reaction is going to be. Stronger your nucleophile is going to be, the reaction will be more towards SN2. So because this is SN2 reaction, stronger nucleophile and less hindered Rx is what is preferred. So if this is the compound we have, now we have to figure out which part of this compound can be the haloalkane part and which part of it can be a base part. Okay, if there is a 3 degree O minus, then it is gonna be a very good base. Okay, and if this is comparatively, if you see, this is a 2 degree chain. So on this 2 degree carbon, if X is there, then it is better. So if I break this molecule into two parts to identify which part is a haloalkane part and which part is the base part, what I understand is 3 degree part should be the base part because it will make the stronger nucleophile, and the 2 degree part should be haloalkane part because that will be a less hindered haloalkane. So in that case, if this is cyclohexane with X is the haloalkane and tert butoxide is my base, that will be the ideal case to form this particular compound. And which option is this? This is your option number B. Now come to question number 26. Now, in this question number 26, they are asking how many moles of HI will be consumed in this reaction. One thing which we need to understand is that in this HI reaction, what we have is we have three benzene groups in between. And we must know this, that benzene group cannot be used for SN2 or SN1 reaction. So no SN1, no SN2 can happen on this. Only part where your SN2 is possible is your the CH3 part. Okay, so though protonation of ether can happen on each ether, but the bond will not cleave eventually after reaction with I minus, because no SN2 can happen on benzene. Let's start and understand. Let me target this part first, and I'm attacking with HI. I will get a protonated ether here, then I minus will do SN2, will cleave this bond and will form CH3I and OH, PHO, 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 CH3. One more time when I'll do HI, it can attack on this oxygen, it can attack on this, either way it can do, but only problem is if H is coming over here and forming H plus, this reaction is gonna be reversible because no further bond will break. Same is the case if I'll do the reaction here, I'll form HN plus over here, this reaction will be reversible because no further bond is gonna cleave. Okay, so in these two places this thing will happen. Now in the third case, if I'll put HN plus over here, then so in this case your I minus, the protonation of ether will happen. This is the molecule which will form, and I minus will attack on this CH3 using SN2 and will cleave the bond, forming CH3I, and the OH will be formed on both the POH on the terminals. Ether linkages of the middle will not participate in the reaction, because participation means reaction with H plus only, and reaction with H plus will be reversible over here because the further bond will not cleave. So overall 2 moles of HI will be consumed only for this reaction. So 2 moles of HI will be consumed in this reaction. First to break the CH3, which is the starting point of the compound, and one to break the CH3, which is the end point of the compound. So 2 moles of HI will be consumed. Now I come to question number 27. In question number 27, we have been asked compare the rate of reaction with OH minus. First of all, we have to understand that OH minus in case of ethers do not react with ethers generally. Why? Because oxygen is a bad leaving group. If you try to do it with the open chain ether, the reaction may not happen. Why? Because without the protonation of oxygen. Yeah, so let's suppose OH minus is attacking over here. It may attack here, but this bond will not cleave further because oxygen or OCH3 is a bad leaving group. But this is in the case of open chain ethers. And closed chain ethers, this oxygen will be relatively better leaving group. Why? Because the angle strain is there and oxygen is ready to break the bond, not because it has a positive charge, but it is highly under angle strain. So if OH minus will attack over here, this bond can cleave, and this bond will cleave due to the angle strain. So more the angle strain would be, attack of OH minus on the carbon will be easier and faster. So this reaction in the open chain ethers does not happen. In closed chain ethers, smaller the ether is, easy it will be to break the carbon-oxygen bond just because of the angle strain, not because the oxygen is a good leaving group. But here oxygen is acting as a good leaving group even without having a plus charge because of the angle strain present. Now come to question number 28. Here we have been asked phenyl magnesium bromide when will react with diethyl ether, what will be the product? First of all, you need to understand, as I said earlier also, that nucleophilic attack will not happen in case of the normal open chain ethers just because oxygen is a bad leaving group. So here you have pH minus as a nucleophile, and it will not be able to attack on this open chain ether. Also, you might have, even if you don't know this reason or you don't understand this reason, you should also at least know that Grignard reagent reactions generally take place in the presence of ether. Basically, ethers are acting as a solvent over there. We can use a particular compound as a solvent only and only if that compound does not react with the given reactants. So that is the reason why Grignard reagent will not do any reaction with ethers. As I said, due to the low polarity and because of the absence of acidic hydrogen, and oxygen or OR is a bad leaving group. Multiple reasons are there why nucleophilic attack will not happen, or even if it will happen, it will not translate to any product. Okay, so no reaction in this case. So answer for this reaction would be D, or question would be D.